So I realize it's a bit odd of me to review the second FNAF movie without reviewing the first one first, so I'll briefly cover over that now, and I'll say that I did like the first movie a lot. It wasn't super scary, I don't think it needed to be. I don't think it ever captured the true feeling of what the games had of being in the office in that confined space for not hours, but minutes that felt like hours. And I think it was logical for them to step in the direction of having fun with it rather than trying to be one-upping the game. I think the fan base is already kind of like a sillier one. It's not one that's always going for scary things. There's a lot of the VHS series fan-made animations that are horrifying, like Afton deep frying a baby. So, for them to make a movie, you're competing with a lot already. So I think it was fine of them to go for a more action focus. And speaking of the fan base, I would also like to establish that I've been in the series since it began. If that isn't clear from my avatar or my channel, that I know I don't post a lot about FNAF, but I'm sure I've made references to it before. But even just knowing me, you would know I am a day one FNAF lover. I was there when Vincent was still the purple guy. I was there when the phone guy was drawn with a literal phone for a head. I was there at the Tony Cry Night Foxy X Mangle series. Yes, I'm a Fangle shipper through and through. I don't care what anyone says. And I was there for all the old theories that I can't remember as much. I remember when everyone thought, I'm pretty sure it was the third game people thought was going to be like a mall setting. And I have to say, I love Security Breach. Like, I think Security Breach is a really good game, aside from all the bugs. I got it on PS5 maybe a few months ago, and I have no bugs with it anymore. It renders pretty fine for the most part. I do think there's annoying things with it, but overall, I do like the game a lot. I like the characters. I think that the Neon Mall area is my favorite place ever. And I'm glad that it wasn't as scary as the other games, because I don't know, it feels more kiddish, sure, but like it's supposed to be a kid's establishment, and I liked the way that they explored the games in this one. I was a huge fan of FNAF 3 when that came out, so yes, I do like when FNAF is more horror oriented. I have a painting of Springtrap in my room. I love Springtrap. I made that when I was a little kid. I'll probably make a video analyzing Springtrap soon or later. I don't know when I'll make that, but I love his character so much. One of my favorite designs ever, and one of my favorite characters. So if you guys want to listen to that, like, let me know and I'll work on that sooner. But anyways, let's get back to the first movie since I'm on such a long tangent right now. I like the practical effects of it. I think they were incredibly done. The way that they switch from animatronics to costume, I never really even noticed too much when they switched between those. It felt pretty natural and fluid. Vanessa, I thought was a bit of a cringe addition. She sort of was just there to let people know who aren't huge fans of the games, like let them know what's going on in the lore. And I think it's interesting. I'm pretty sure the main character Mike is like a genuine characterization of Mike Schmidt, since I'll get into that more when I talk about the second movie, but I thought it was cool that he was actually made into his own separate character in this. I enjoyed getting to see the Corey Kenshin and Matt Pat appearances here too. Yes, I am a huge Corey fan. If that wasn't obvious either, I don't know how much. I don't think I reference that as much in my videos, but Corey, one of my favorite YouTubers growing up. So glad that he's also a Roxy fan. Love Roxy. Roxy's so beautiful. I'm actually, let me just briefly tell you guys, I have FNAF Security Breach on in the background while I'm recording, so I can really, get in the mood. And Roxy's walking around. I'm liking getting to see her here. She's real cute. I love her. Anyways, I'm not too sure what to say. I'm sure I'm not the first to say this, but the ending was kind of awkward with the animatronics circling around William and him spring locking and then being like, I always come back, and just kind of being shoved into the corner or whatever. I did like how the animatronics were depicted to behave as children rather than monsters. Like, it's only when they're being controlled by Afton that they go all evil crazy. I've always wanted to see them get humanized and just get to be seen as normal, with like wanting to play how children do or wanting toys and stuff like that. Overall, I think the film is a fun experience. You get Easter eggs for if you've been a fan of the games for a while. You get some jump scares, you get a bit of horror, but I don't think the horror is the big draw of the movie. Now, for the second movie, we open to see the girl who is gonna possess the marionette. We see her crying about being alone, and she sees some kid getting kidnapped by William Afton. She goes into the back, and then she gets stabbed, and she's dead. And none of the parents helped her. They were all like, "Oh, hush, hush, you just go away. We're the adults are talking." So she's very vengeful because of that, and I really like the way when they do show Spring Bonnie. I like the way he's framed in the kitchen, and then when he's in the hallway, he looks like a giant, like he's barely fitting in there, and he's like having to hunch over and hold his knife close to his face, and he's like, I'm gonna get you. Anyways, we get to the modern day, and we see Abby struggling to cope with the loss of her robotic friends, despite having, you know, the kids at school that she hangs out with. And Mike is going out with Vanessa, trying not to make it into a date or mention, like, oh, I think you're kind of cute. Abby has troubles with trying to make a robot for her school project, and her teacher is like, don't do it, just stay out of it, you know, he's being a jerk. And she ends up going to the old FNAF location where Mike follows her, and she learns that her friends aren't there anymore and that Mike's been lying about being able to repair them. Oh, also, I forgot to mention this earlier, but when like the kid was getting stabbed in the movie, there was someone in my theater, there was like children in the theater crying at that, and there was some guy who like walked up to them and yelled at them for it and was like, "Hey, shut up, get out, this isn't a movie for you, some of us are trying to enjoy it." And like, I thought that was a bit overboard of him, but I thought it was really funny that there was like actually kids there being scared of William Afton. Anyways, back to the movie. Where were we? Yeah, she learns that her friends aren't alive, like the robots aren't there anymore. Mike's like, "Hey man, if you want, you can keep one toy from here, but we gotta go home." They look around. He picks up this little plushie that has like a little voice box in it that goes like or. That's cool. Abby picks out one that's like a talking toy. They go back home, and we cut to this group of paranormal investigators that were called to the FNAF 2 location where Michael Afton is waiting for them to like tell them the lore about that area. The paranormal group get eaten by Mangle, my goat Mangle. I love them. Yes. Balloon Boy drowns one of them, and the girl character gets possessed by the marionette. After that, we go back to the house. Abby's new toy starts talking to her, and she's excited to go find out that it's Chica. She meets Toy Chica, and the animatronics actually have voice boxes this time. They speak to her, which I think that's cool. I liked getting to hear what they're all canonically supposed to sound like when they talk. There's also a dream sequence where Vanessa has like a nightmare about William Afton going crazy, yandere mode, being like, "You're mine! You're mine! You'll never escape me! Ah!" And he like starts falling in slow motion. Ah! You know, there's that, which is cool. I liked getting to see him go crazy. Circus Baby also appears in the closet at some point. When Vanessa goes out, to find out where Abby is, she talks to the toy and find out like the puppet's possessing it, and the marionette girl, like she's the one that's doing all of it or something. My memory's a little hazy on that part of the movie, but Abby gets her new project for the school thing, and it's like this little Chica model, and her teacher is very against her participating in the FNAF event, so he drops on the floor and breaks it. She runs back to the FNAF 2 location, and the marionette who's talking through Toy Chica is like, "Hey, you wanna have this thing work? Well, guess what? You wanna do you wanna have this thing work? I can be your project." She says, "You want me to be your project? I can do that. Just type in this code and we'll be free to walk around." So that's what she does. She enters a code that Vanessa tells the marionette, and then they walk free. All the animatronics are out on the street now, and Mike Schmidt, he comes to the place place, he finds Vanessa all tied up, and they're like, okay, now we have to go save Abby and save the world from the animatronics. So Vanessa gets in her car to go out and find what's going on. Mike stays back to play FNAF IRL, and so that he can hack to turn off all the animatronics. Whether the animatronics are after him, he uses the mask, and the mask makes it so that like they don't know it's a human. Foxy isn't fooled, and he's like, Yarg, I'm coming for you, and he's gonna kill him. But then he's at the last second, he turns them all off. Meanwhile, Vanessa is having this chase scene with Mangle. Mangle's like jumping on her car and like slamming their paws into the window, like trying to scratch at her, bite at her. Then it like gets flung off the roof and like hits Toy Freddy perfectly. But yeah, and then after they turned off, the marionettes gets Abby home, possesses her, and it reactivates all the robots. And Vanessa and Mike, they rush together, they get back together and they're like, oh my god, Abby's possessed! We have to go get her! So they go back to the house for this grand epic finale, and they play the music box, which calms down Abby and gets the marionette out of there. But then the toy animatronics, they're all back on, and they come and they gather at the house, and they're all like closing in, and Michael Afton gets there, and he tells Vanessa, like, you're always gonna be Mr. Afton's kid. We're always gonna be William's kid. Our purpose is to continue his work. You have to join me, and we're gonna kill everyone. And then Vanessa takes Mike's side, and she's like, I'm choosing this life. We don't have to be his monster anymore. Just as it seems like they're all gonna die, and Michael's gonna kill them, suddenly the Foxy starts humming, and suddenly all four of the originals are there, and they like rip apart the toys and kill them. Michael runs away, but he gets hit by their friend outside. A friend that I forgot to mention because I didn't really remember him. Oh, by the way, when there was another Corey scene in here very briefly when they when Toy Chica was being the school project. Corey appeared there. I forgot about that too. I think Matt Pat appeared again in this movie, but I'm not sure where it was. So anyway, Michael gets knocked out, and the children's souls are finally free from Golden Freddy. The children's souls are finally free, but Golden Freddy warns the main cast, like, I can't hold back William anymore. And then we get a teaser at the end revealing Springtrap for the third movie, and in the credits, It's Been So Long plays. And there's also a post-credit scene where Henry has a recording from Mike. So with that out of the way, overall, what did I think of the movie? I think similar to the first one, I enjoyed it a lot as an experience. I thought this one was even more fun. Like, they were just doing crazy stuff all the time. They had the animatronics out at like a theme park too. I don't think it should have been scary. Like, a FNAF movie, I think is best when it's kind of silly. I will say for the third one, I think it should be more horror oriented though. Like the other ones, the first and second make sense to be kind of silly. The third one, I'm anticipating more of a horror, because you have Springtrap, you know, you have the horror attraction that gets made around him, and you know, you're gonna have this like rotten corpse inside of him too. I mean, really, the first two movies were just build-ups to this one, like if you ask me. It's not because it's my favorite game, it's not just that, but I do think it's I do think it was all building up to this. I don't really know how they're gonna do the fourth game as a movie, because that one, the animatronics be insanely difficult to make. Visually, I think it's really good. Or it does have like its moments, but definitely more of like a fun. That's all I have written down. Overall, yeah, I would recommend this as an experience. I think you should have friends with you too. The theater experience is fine, but I think this is more something you want to be able to have like commentary with your friends on if you're enjoying it together, but you know, even if you're just watching it on your own, it's pretty good. I'd love to talk more about FNAF related things. I do have a couple FNAF fan games downloaded onto my computer that I would like to play through. I could record that if you guys would be interested. I could play the original games too, even though I don't know how many people want to see gameplay of that anymore. I'd love to just talk about the characters too, like I said, Springtrap I'd love to go over, maybe Mangle too, William as a character, Michael. Is there much to talk about with Elizabeth Afton, or like the wife? I think that family is interesting to analyze. Unfortunately, I don't know much about the daughter or the wife, or the little crying child who just kind of dies because he gets bitten in the bite of 83. Yeah, overall, great movie. Let me know if you guys want FNAF content, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye.